it was very difficult and became very unsafe as well to me. But I was too, I didn't want to tell my family about it because I didn't want my family to be worried about me being in a completely different country on my own, you know, in danger in some situations, and feel like they would feel guilty for, you know what I mean, for saying, yeah, you know, go ahead, you can go and marry and go live there or whatever. Rio is well, I'm from Brazil, born and raised. I grew up in a military family, military and entrepreneur. So my dad's side, everybody was military, mostly men. Mom's side, everybody was an entrepreneur. They have different businesses, family businesses. And I grew up with a lot of art and with a lot of discipline as well. So a mix of both. And I think that actually helped me a lot in a lot of things in life. I have a small family in a sense, only one sister, a younger sister. My parents, I don't know, I mean, my parents are incredible in my life, have been, you know, my best friends. My whole family is like my best friends, very open communication in the house. I don't remember us having any major serious issues as a family, other than maybe when I was a little young, before we even all got to know Jesus and came to that side of things. But I grew up in a very happy home with a lot of music. My grandfather played the trumpet for the military police band, or whatever you want to call it. He played in soap operas and stuff like that too. My mom's mom, which I never got to meet, she already passed when I was born, and she used to do some songwriting as well as being a shark, a loan shark. She would lend money to people too, and not in the most legal way, but you know. And then my grandfather on my mom's side, he was a manager of a jelly factory. Very random, but yeah. I always known that I loved music, I just didn't know if I could sing or not. I liked how I felt when I would sing in the living room. I would just put Whitney Houston on, try to reach the highest notes that I could possibly reach. And if I reached it, I thought, okay, I guess I'm a good singer. But I didn't know if I could sing or not until I started joining church choirs and having church musicals, and they would pull me to do a little solo. So like, oh, so maybe I actually can sing. My first album, oh my gosh. So it was here in the States. I didn't do any professional music in Brazil. I didn't even want to do anything like that. I did, it was Springtime was the name of it. You had like 2 songs or 3 songs. That was my album. And I did it. I recorded it in a professional studio. At that point, I had already learned how to do it. But I didn't have anybody to do a cover or even print a CD, because at the time people listened to CDs. So I just designed everything on my own. I studied advertising, so I had a little bit of notion. And I went to Office Max to print the CD cover and also the stickers to go on the actual CD. And when I got to Office Max, the guy said it's gonna be $70. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I thought it was gonna be more expensive, and then he said, oh, let me listen to your music. Let's see if you're good at it. And he was a young kid, maybe like 20, 21. And he listened to it a little bit on a computer at the Office Max little print shop stand. And he's like, wow, you're really good. I'll tell you this, I'll charge you 7 cents for you to print all of those CD covers. And I was like, what? I was so excited, because at the time, $70, you know, it was a lot of money. I had just moved to the States, you know, we were still adapting. And I was so excited, you know, and I just did everything very DIY. Whatever, you know, bought the little cases from Walmart and just stuffed them there, you know, and I would never sell it to anybody, because I was just so excited to just have music out. Whenever I would sing somewhere, I would just give it away, you know. especially because at that point it didn't cost me anything, 7 cents for the cover. I was like, okay, I'll just give it for free anyway. I've had a few, but I would say this, the most recent highlight was to sing the national anthem at the WNBA game, because first of all, it's not just, anybody that has that kind of opportunity. And I didn't even know that I was, brought to their attention to sing. Whoever told them about me, I didn't know that I was even being, considered. It's very nerve-wracking because they say you have to do this, you have to sing under 1 minute and 30 seconds because you're gonna ruin commercials if you don't. So, so my head was, my leg was shaky. And you probably won't be able to see it on the video, but I was terrified, especially because it's the national anthem of the United States. It has the most difficult lyrics ever that don't make sense at all in 2018 with the words that I had to look up in the dictionary so many times to figure out what does that word mean, what is this phrase trying to say, and it doesn't rhyme in any way, shape, or form. So it's just very difficult because the lyrics don't help you remember. And my biggest fear was, if I start the song a little bit too high, that's a wrap. I'm ruined for the whole thing. Because when I reach that high note, I would never be able to do it. Well, I've had a few. I guess when I moved here, and a lot of people know my story, but most people don't. I moved here because I was married to an American person that I met on the internet when I was 19. And it turned out to be a very, very terrible marriage. We were married for 4 years, and he had PTSD that he never really treated. He felt like nobody could really understand him, including me. And it was very difficult and became very unsafe as well to me. But I was I didn't want to tell my family about it because I didn't want my family to be worried about me being in a completely different country on my own, in danger in some situations, and feel like they would feel guilty for, for saying, yeah, go ahead, you can go and marry and go live there or whatever. So when I got divorced, I didn't tell my parents for a whole year without telling them. I was afraid of judgment, not my parents per se, but everybody around them, because in my culture back then was very judgmental, and I was 25 years old getting divorced. It wasn't something that was common at all. Now it seems like everybody is getting divorced, which is a shame. But I didn't want to face the questions and the judgment. I felt like a failure at the time. So I decided to stay, and I decided to also prove myself that I could be a responsible adult without having to run to mommy and daddy when things went wrong, and just believe in this God that I said I trusted. And it was very hard because a lot of times it was just God and me. I had lost trust in God and many things that God had to kind of win me over again for things that I used to believe about God that I didn't see come through the way I expected, so I assumed that God wasn't doing anything about it. Starting with the divorce, because I didn't believe that God would ever allow me to divorce. And just, knowing how to navigate the world on my own in a completely new country, that was very, very difficult to do. But I'm very happy to say that I never went to a point of desperation, and that's a big part of it is because I trusted this God that I say that I believe in, and he did come through. So I didn't get desperation in my life, but it was always tough to do anything. I mean, I didn't know how to get an apartment on my own. I didn't know how to do my taxes. I didn't understand credit. I didn't understand credit cards. Those are things that kind of you need in America to really survive. I used to be afraid of having children because of the pain of labor, but that's no longer a thing. I was never afraid to die, but I guess I have the fear of the pain if it's like I'm dying because of torture or something like that. I don't know if I would want to feel that pain. And I'm also terrified of cockroaches. I do, spiders, I'll kill them though. I mean, I would just give me a paper towel and But cockroaches, they're kind of gross. But I still kill cockroaches for all of my girlfriends. Some of them will call me, can you please help me with this cockroach? I'll kill them, but I don't like them. Oh, roller coasters is another thing. I don't like roller coasters. I try to overcome my fear of roller coasters, and I went in the kids one in Universal Studios. I guess the Harry Potter one had a child version and an adult version, and I went with my cousin on the child version to see if it will be okay. Or even in those pirate, you know, the ones from the carnival. It feels like my organs are all gonna come out of my mouth. I don't love them at all.
I came to celebrate.
18-year-old me. I would say, don't let anybody else define you. Look for what God wants from you, what God has planned for your life, and just work towards becoming that. But if you don't define yourself, somebody else will. Well, one thing that I had regret for a long time is that I never finished my university. In Brazil, the way it works is if you go to a public university, you want to go there because you get better education overall. It's recognized all over the world, and it's completely free. So I know that God had his hand on me regardless. And I don't necessarily believe in the schooling system the way it is now. I do believe that it helps you develop critical thinking and it helps you develop skill set for you to use in something, but it's become such an indoctrination machine. And in the States particularly is such a scam with how they use your money that I never had the interest of finishing it here. And I don't want to say that my marriage was a mistake, because I do know that every step in our life means something and it gives you something to use for your next phase. But maybe I should have waited to get more mature before thinking that I was ready for marriage. I was 21 when I got married, you know, and I thought I could conquer the world. I have everything I need. I know it all, you know, and nope, I didn't. I don't know if I have a 10-year goal anymore. I used to have that, a 5-year, 10-year. Now, to me, it's like, this is the plan that I have, and whenever it comes, it will come. But honestly, I have a dream to be able to be a singer and an actress that can continue to do both together as I have, but on a bigger platform so I can reach more people, and to the point that I am able to work with different governments all over the world in projects that can better the lives of different people all over the world. Go back and talk to my government in Brazil about things that I think that my people would care about. Advocate for family values that is being lost everywhere in the world. I have a big passion for family, for morals, for wholesomeness in the society. And those are things that I would like to help advocate for in front of politicians one day as well. Not as a politician, but somebody who is able to have that kind of platform and discuss with them. Also somebody that can defend the good Christian values that we still have. And even with my life, make a difference and show people in the church even how we should be doing, you know, things, because I get very discouraged with how the Christian church is all over the world. And we've been sold so many lies that we're buying into it because it's convenient, because it makes sense, because it's easy. you know, all sorts of reasons. And it's making us weak, you know, and I'm not saying that I'm the best Christian in the world, of course not. But I do think that some of us sometimes can bring insight about things with our own life more than with the words, you know, and different people would do that in different platforms. Mine happened to be in the entertainment industry. And I just want to make a difference, you know, and I love when I get messages from people that I have no idea who they are, and they say, hey, I listened to your music or I watched your video, and I thank you because that changed my life. Or stuff that I get like, I was going to kill myself today and I didn't because I listened to your music and it spoke to me. Somebody wrote me yesterday because they asked when my next show was, and then I called the person. I just said, hey brother, and then I told them what it was. And he said that he cried and he felt overwhelmed because he never heard anybody call him brother. And he thought that I would never even respond. And he felt love through this little thing, right? So to me, that's worth it already. Doing what I do is the little things that completely change people's lives. And you don't even know, you know, even with this interview, people are gonna listen to it. And maybe one word that I say is probably gonna do something, you know what I mean, that can change a whole person's life. In this industry, it's very cutthroat. People are not your friends, let's be real. And you are useful as long as it fits an agenda, and you are replaceable. So people think that being a public person or even a celebrity, that, you know, everybody sees you as a star, the king, the queen. But within the industry, you are a product. And a product can be thrown away, can be put to the side, can be redone, you know, refurbished. And with women specifically, I see a lot of singers and actresses that are shaped into being sexual because sex sells, and unfortunately it still does, because if it didn't, people wouldn't keep doing that. But they expect us to be okay with, you know, going and doing a sex scene or a steamier kiss that has nothing to do with the storyline and just sensationalism. It's just because it makes people, you know, keep their eyes watching. And it's very hard for you to not lose an opportunity if you say no to those things. And I've had said no to quite a few of these things, from being a villain and having to curse a lot, and I don't want to do roles that I curse. Trying to shift my music to not talk about sex, but dance sexually on stage, when that's not my goal. And I've lost opportunities to be with major record labels because of that. I lost opportunities to have smaller roles in major movies because of that. And God has also blessed me to continue to say no and still keep the opportunity in other projects. So I think that my advice for any girl or women who want to be in this industry, know who you are, know that you don't need to do everything to get high up there, because the goal is not really to get high up there. When you get up there, it's empty. Fame, money, all those things are temporary. They won't go to the grave with you, but your dignity will. So losing your dignity over an opportunity could be the opportunity of a lifetime. A lot of women say, oh, I'm gonna go and do this, or I'm gonna even go and, you know, even sleep with a producer because I'm gonna get the job. Your dignity is gonna be shot, and you're gonna lay down on your pillow knowing that you got that job that you didn't really deserve because you did something that you shouldn't have done to get it. And what kind of merit is that? When you get an award and be on that stage, knowing what you did to get it, it's heavy in your heart. You don't want that. So I would say just be very confident in who you are, regardless of how many people tell you that you're wrong, that's how the industry is, that you're gonna lose the opportunity, that they're gonna ruin your career. At the end of the day, care about your soul. That's what needs to be healthy more than anything else. What is yours will be yours regardless. If you say yes or no, it's gonna be yours. So if there's something that you're not comfortable doing, something that is not within the value system that you hold dear to you, say no. And if you lose the opportunity, guess what? That is actually, you're being delivered from something that would have ruined your soul. Well, you can find more about me everywhere online. You can go to miarioonline.com. Also my Instagram, I'm there a lot, Mia Rio Online. Facebook, Facebook's a little different, Rio Online page, and Twitter also Mia Rio Online. I don't know my YouTube, it's probably Mia Rio Online too. Hey, this is Mia Rio. You are watching Cross Culture TV by Refill Ministries.